You've probably heard of the game Boggle, and you've also probably heard of the game Scrabble. But what do you get when you combine the two? Behold, welcome to the world of Scraggle. I'll read off a brief definition of the game as it shows up on the intro page. Scraggle is a fantastic crossover between Boggle and Scrabble. The rules are simple. You play by yourself or against an opponent to find words in a 4x4 grid. You have 3 minutes to find as many words as you can. Once time runs out, your words will be counted up and scored. A word's score consists both of the word's length and of the point values of the letters within the word. If there are multiple players, word lists will be compared and words in common will be omitted. Whoever has the best score wins. You can play as a guest, but only in single player mode. And if you don't have an account, you can create one here. Before we do that though, I'd like to point out the two advertising spaces. We have one here at the top and one here at the bottom so that whatever you're advertising will show up perfectly. Now, we move on to creating a new player. And here it is. As you see, it's pretty self-explanatory. You type in the name you want to use at the top. Beneath that, you'll type in the password you want to use. Underneath that, you'll retype the same password to make sure there aren't any typos or anything. And once you've done all that, you click the Create User button, and bam! There's a new user. It automatically logs you in from the Create User screen, but I'm going to log back out and show you what it looks like logging in as an existing user. You see here there's a button to log in. When you click that, you'll see a very similar screen. First thing you'll notice is it has a link to the Create User screen, just in case you forgot to create one when you got to this point. Otherwise, you'll type your username into the box that says Input Username, and you type your password beneath that. Once you've done that, you'll click the Login button and you'll see the same screen. Now we have a single player mode, and we also have a multiplayer mode. So I'll click the single player mode here, and you'll see there are several elements here. The first being the purple grid, which letters will show up on. Next to that is a white area where the words you form will go. And above that, there's a timer that counts down from 3 minutes. Next to that is an area that keeps track of your current score. And beneath all of this, you'll see there's a black area where invalid words go, and a button that you click to start the game. Let's do that quickly. Start a game. And when I click the button, you'll see that the letters show up and the timer starts. Now, how do you make a word? You start by clicking the first letter within the word that you're trying to form, and it'll be highlighted. Move to an adjacent tile, which will also be highlighted, and then move on to another one until you've finished your word, at which point you'll release the mouse. You'll see your word shows up here, and the way it's scored, you see, is each of the letters is a point value that add up to 3 here. The word itself is 3 letters long, which adds another extra value. You'll continue on in this manner, forming words, and if you happen to touch the same tile twice, then it'll just stop your progress up until that point. You can continue as if nothing ever happened. Now there are some words you can't use. For example, a 2-letter word is too short. It has to be 3 or more letters, and it tells you that. Other things, you shouldn't make a word that's already in the word list, and again, it'll tell you if that happens. And finally, if you try to create something that's very much not a word, it'll show up underneath an invalid word box, showing that it is very much not a word. And so on and so forth. We'll continue forming words until time runs out. And I'll talk to you then. As you can see, there are now just about 20 seconds left, and I've formed a few more words. I'll continue forming a few as we get towards the end, but as you'll notice, when the timer hits 10 seconds, it'll turn red, telling you to get a move on. I might have time to make one more word here, and when the timer hits 0, you'll see what happens is that you're no longer able to make words. The timer says 0, and you'll see at the bottom it'll tell you that time is up, and it'll tell you what your final score is. You'll also see all your words in the word list. Now this is cool and all, and you can also start a new game by the play again button. However, you'll more likely want to see what multiplayer looks like in action. So I'll leave this game mode and log in, and this time choose multiplayer. As you can see, I'm logging back in. You already saw this, it's nothing new. And you'll notice that I've already logged in as an opponent called Pokrandt. We'll see them in a bit. First off, I'll click multiplayer and enter the wait room, where your name will show up on the white background and a message is telling you that you're waiting for another player to join. In a second, Pokrandt will join, and we'll see that they both enter a multiplayer game. Here we go. We're both in the game now. And once we both click our start button, which will be slightly off, you'll see that we have the same exact letter distribution. Here we are. The same letters. Now you see, I'll find a word here, and you'll notice my opponent will find the same word. So to even the score, I'll have to find another word of my own. See, you got this word here, but my opponent's going to find the word jig. And you'll see that the words we have in common and the words that we have that are unique to ourselves are very important at the end. In the meantime, you'll watch as the two players find words back and forth. As we speed through this, I'll see you again at the end of the game. Alright, as you can see, the game is just about to end, and the moment it does, you'll see that a word list appears, and it'll show a few elements. Among those are the words I found, and the words my opponent found, and then beneath those you'll see the words that we found in common. And as you can see, it looks the exact same on my opponent's screen, except his words and my words are switched. You can also see that there are two end of game messages. If you won, you get the green message, but if you lost, you get the red message that says you should have done better. Now there's the option to play again. However, Pokrandt's decided that since he beat me, he's fine with that. So he'll click the leave multiplayer button. As you can see, he's thinking about it. Oh, he did it. How rude. Now I can't start a new game because the buttons aren't there. So the only choice I have is to leave multiplayer, and that's about how it works. Now, it may be fun just to watch the demo, but if you want to play it yourself, you can contact me at npokrandt@emmaus.edu. That's npokrandt@emmaus.edu. Thank you.